Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, where I'm checking out Brasserie for the first time. Really happy to have you along. I'll see you inside. Okay, my friends, and here we are seated at Brasserie, an intimately lit restaurant, very beautiful in here. Bobby Flay's French-themed restaurant here at the Caesar's Palace, a very elegant spot. I certainly like the vibe in here. Now, regardless of the vibes, you know it's all about the food for me, so let's take a look at what they have to eat on the menu. So here is the menu at Brasserie. We'll start with the cocktails and drinks. Feel free to take a pause in the video if you'd like to take a closer look at these beverages. So all of your cocktails here, looks like they also have spirit-free for those of you who are not looking to get too toasted at dinner or brunch. Wine by the glass, sparkling and rosé up top, and your whites and reds down here. We have a list of martinis, all for $24. Your draft beers, as well as bottled beers and ciders. And those are all the drinks here at Brasserie. So I'm being joined by a couple of friends today. We're celebrating a birthday, so I am going to be doing a little bit of drinking, but we'll see what they have to eat as well. So here is the food menu at Brasserie. We have a raw bar and salads up front. Nice looking raw bar there. And we have the Tower Magnifique. Prawn cocktail, crab cocktail, lobster, mussels, clams, oysters, king crab, and scallops. This sounds incredible. I think that might be happening today. Here's the hot bar. So you've got roasted prawns, so a lot of really great seafood options here at Brasserie. Here is your list of appetizers: an onion soup, a potato chip dish. I don't know how to pronounce this. Aile de poulet. I think that's chicken of some kind. So these are your appetizers here. And then your list of sides. We have some asparagus, pomme puree, French fries, and the like. And that'll bring us to the entrees: duck confit, chicken brasserie, Dover sole, black bass. So some pretty good looking options here. And then that brings us to the ave frites. These are from the grill, served with twice cooked French fries. We have a ribeye, a pork chop, some lamb chops, lobster. Yeah, this looks really great. So here's your menu at Brasserie for dinner. Been a while since I've been to a French restaurant. I'm looking forward to trying a lot of dishes today because you know how it goes in my videos. Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So I'm gonna get a nice variety and together we'll see what this place is all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you a little bit when they arrive. Actually, scratch that. We just got some cocktails here. We're here celebrating our friend's birthday, so cheers to us and happy birthday to her. And cheers to you. Thanks for being in the video with us. All right, that was actually really refreshing. We're gonna continue enjoying these drinks and I'll see you in a little bit when the appetizers actually arrive. And welcome back everyone. Our appetizers just got here. This is looking so good. Let me give you a view. So we got their Vidalia onion soup as well as their ailes de poulet. Those are chicken wings, and the filet mignon tartare. And I'm sure you can see here, this is the Tower Magnifique. This looks like a great collection of all of their seafood offerings for appetizer. All of this is looking fantastic. Really looking forward to trying these all. Let's go in. First up, the onion soup. A very nice looking onion soup here, and it was served with what looked like a chimichurri on top. We'll get a nice spoonful, and we'll give it a shot. Oh yeah, it's good. A solid French onion soup here, a very viscous broth. I actually really like the stock that they used here. A well-fortified stock, lots of aromatics and a deep beefy flavor. That's quite good. You definitely get the caramelized sweetness of the onions here. It's absolutely been stewed down perfectly into the soup. Those flavors are incorporated very well. There's a bit of umami to this soup. I'm not sure if they've added soy sauce or something similar, but there is a very nice mouthfeel to this and a good salinity coming from the cheese. Now what's really great is what I thought was a chimichurri is actually more of a pesto sauce. A bit more of that parsley flavor as well as a bit of a nuttiness here, really providing a different accent flavor to the soup. It's all very good. A solid French onion soup there. Next up, the ailes de poulet. These are their chicken wings, served in what looks like a very buttery sauce. I will admit these are not exactly jumbo wings. These are quite dinky, to be honest with you, but hopefully they taste good. Let's see how these are. Yes, that's tasty.
This is a very tasty chicken wing. It is nicely fried, a good moist chicken wing here. Juicy chicken is the best chicken, and I'm happy to report they did a good job with the cook. I genuinely love this sauce. Has a bit of a toasted garlicky flavor, very pungent, and a little bit of heat, though I wouldn't classify this as a spicy dish. A very approachable kick. There's a bit of a sweetness to the sauce as well, providing some balance against that heat, as well as that pungent garlic flavor. That's all very good. I think my chief complaint with this particular dish is that the wings are just so dinky. I really wish that these were at least twice as big.
But that is a nice flavor nonetheless. It is very good. Next up is the filet mignon tartare, served alongside some very toasty crostinis. Got a nice amount of it formed on top of the bread here. The beef tartare. Yeah, you know, that's not bad.
This is a bit of an interesting tartare. They have a lot of flavors going here. Though to start things off, I really like this crostini. It's nicely toasted, still a little bit of chew to the center though, providing some neutral flavors and acting as a good vessel for this tartare. A little bit of oil applied there for some richness as well. A fine crostini here. The beef tartare does have a nice texture, a smooth beef here, not too mushy, and a lot of herbs and cornichons incorporated in it. While it does have a bit of a beefy flavor, it's heavily spiced. For me personally, they went pretty heavy-handed with the cumin. It's very pungent in flavor, a bit on the salty side as well. I wouldn't mind having that reduced a bit, though I do actually really like the amount of bite coming from the chives and shallots here. But personally, I think I would like to appreciate a little bit more of the flavor of the beef as opposed to this very pungent spice mix.
A fine texture, but I would really like to taste a little bit more of the beef in the beef tartare there. Next up, we'll go in on the Tower Magnifique. Now this is a triple layer tower with tons of really great seafood, and we'll go down layer by layer, starting with the top. Looks like we have some prawns with cocktail sauce as well as some scallops up top. Let's go in on those first. And I think we're gonna start with the prawns. A nice big prawn cocktail here. I'm gonna dip it into the sauce. Here's that prawn cocktail. Oh, that's very good.
Jumbo prawns here, I'm loving the size. Very cleanly deveined and very plump and succulent. These are some quality prawns. A nice briny sweet flavor to these, but also a peppery kick. You can actually see the amount of cracked black pepper here, and a slightly spicy, tangy cocktail sauce with a little bit of sweetness providing some nice accent flavors here. A very good shrimp cocktail.
That is a great start to the Tower Magnifique. Good prawns there. Next up, the Bay Scallop Sophie. I'm actually not sure what scallop Sophie are, but I believe these are raw, served in some kind of a sauce. Hopefully it's good. Let's give it a shot. Oh, that's really tasty.
Very fresh scallops here. A wonderful bouncy texture to those, and a bit of a sweet flavor as well. Very nice scallop. This sauce is so flavorful. A little bit spicy, but also very refreshing. There's a nice acidic layer to this, and a nice freshness from the cilantro. A bit of a crisp flavor as well. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of a white wine reduction in this. There's a hint of nuttiness in the sauce as well. I want to say sesame oil, but something very similar. Pair that with a beautiful textured scallop, and it comes together very well.
That's a really nice little scallop dish right there. We're going to continue our way down to the second portion of this tower, which has mussels, clams, as well as crab cocktail and lobster cocktail. First off, we'll go in on the mussels. This freshly came out of the shell. Here are the mussels. Yeah, that's a good mussel.
A very nice mussel here. Firm, very fresh tasting. Not too much of a fishy flavor. You do get a little bit of that ocean saltiness. But I love that there was no sand, no dirt, no particulates. It was very clean. Just a very well prepared mussel.
A good way to start off that second portion of the tower. Next up, the clam. Again, this clam also came very cleanly out of the shell. And if the mussels were any indicator, I'm pretty sure this is very fresh and good as well. Here's the clam. Yeah, pretty good.
Now, unfortunately, my clam did have a little bit of sand in there, so it did make for a bit of an unfortunate bite. I haven't eaten sand on purpose since I was a kid, and so being made to involuntarily eat it is not pleasant. That said, this is a very fresh clam, nice briny flavor to it as well.
If that was a little bit cleaner, I think I would have enjoyed that a lot more. Okie doke, next up, this is the lobster cocktail. You get both lobster and crab cocktail, served in a beautiful glass, and I've got a nice amount on the fork here. The lobster cocktail. Yeah, that's good.
That's a pretty flavorful lobster cocktail. Personally, I think the cocktail could use a lot more lobster. There's a fair amount of greens here. But that said, you actually are working with some nice flavors. A bit of a pungent flavor here. I think there's a fair amount of cumin and or curry in this mix, but a nice oil or vinaigrette is providing some richness here, giving some very nice mouthfeel. Some very fresh herbs here, nice freshness coming from the cilantro, and a little bit of bite from some onion. While a lot of these flavors are good, I can't say that I can distinguish the lobster all that much, and I think that's my only real issue with this dish. It's called lobster cocktail. I would love to taste a lot more of that lobster, but again, not to say the flavors here are bad. A tasty dish nonetheless, though. Okie doke, last bite from the second layer of this Tower Magnifique is going to be the crab cocktail. A very fresh looking crab cocktail here. And I can already see there's a lot more meat than there was in the lobster. Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, certainly a lot more crab here than there was lobster in the lobster cocktail, so we're already off to a much better start. I can absolutely taste the sweetness of the crab much more here than in the lobster cocktail, and it does have a very nice sweetness to it. A bit of a spicy sauce, very akin to a watered down salsa verde. It's very garlicky in flavor, a nice kick to it, and some very nice crunch coming from the lettuce and cabbage here. I actually really do like the salsa verde-like flavor that's accompanying this crab cocktail. It does work for me very well. A good dish there, I like that one. Now we're gonna go in on the third layer of this tower, and this is really impressive. Now this third layer comes with king crab, oysters, and mussels. Also 3 different sauces, a mustard cream sauce, a mignonette, as well as a house spicy sauce. All of them are very good, but I'm mostly interested in the quality of the seafood. And we're gonna kick things off with the king crab. You get 2 pre-cut legs here, and this king crab came out so easily from the shell. Very much looking forward to this, the king crab. Oh, very good. I don't have king crab often, but every time I do, I'm reminded why I love it so much. Very fresh king crab legs here, with a nice firm meat. You can tell it's very fresh, and just a much more of a robust sweet flavor than your typical crab meat. There's almost a buttery sweetness to it that's so enjoyable. King crab is just the best. Solid king crab here at Brasserie B. Good start to this third layer. Next up, some more oysters. And they do look freshly shucked. Let's see how these are. Oh, it's very good. Oh, that was an excellent oyster. Firstly, it was perfectly clean. No sand or particulates here. Very smooth. A little bit viscous, a little bit slimy, but it is very firm. Nice freshness to these oysters. With a very clean tasting, ocean-like flavor. A very solid oyster here. A very clean tasting oyster. I like that one. Alrighty, and the last bite to go in on from the appetizer round is going to be this last mussel. And it popped right out of the shell. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's good. A pretty common theme here at Brasserie B. Nice fresh seafood. None of this tastes fishy or has any odors. Cleanly coming out of the shells. In general, some very fresh seafood. I think having the direct contrast with the green mussels, you can tell that the flavors here are not as robust. Just a little bit less sweet, just a little bit less flavor, but not bad at all. Given the choice though, I'd probably be going in much more on those green mussels. So if you're here with friends, try and get those first. Still a very fine mussel there, not bad at all. All right, everyone, now that's all of the appetizers I'm trying today. My friends and I are going to continue working on this, and then we'll go in our first round of entrees. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. My first round of entrees just got here. This is looking very good. Let me give you a view. We got the duck confit, as well as their slow roasted salmon, their chicken brasserie, as well as their soca niçoise, and an order of the macaroni gruyere gratin. Some very nice looking French recipes here. Let's give them a try. First off, we'll go in on the duck confit. This is effectively a duck fried in its own fat. Ducks are a very fatty bird, served in a very dark burgundy sauce. Got a nice amount on the fork here. Here's the duck confit. Yeah, that's pretty good. A pretty flavorful duck confit here. The meat is very rich. A nice crispy skin to this duck. I love that shallow pan fry job. A good duck confit requires a nice crispy skin, and so they've nailed that properly here. Now, unfortunately, I won't say this is the most juicy duck. It is a tad on the dry side, but that said, it is well seasoned and it is very flavorful. I actually do really like the sauce. It's acidic in nature, but does have a bit of a cooked down sweetness. With an almost glaze-like consistency, it is a bit more viscous than a watery sauce. It does provide some nice accent flavors. It's effectively something like a duck jus with a bit of acid. It works very well with the duck. Nice complementing flavor here. In general, it's a fairly solid dish. If that duck was a little bit more juicy, I think this could have been a really good dish. Next up, the slow roasted salmon. This is actually a very nice looking salmon dish here, served in a cast iron skillet.
with very nice looking sauce as well. Let's try the salmon. Oh, it's very good.
Now this is a great salmon dish. Wonderfully cooked, a very moist salmon, flaky flesh, a very firm texture. This is a great cook on the salmon. Not only is the fish well seasoned, it has a beautiful mild flavor, but it's really this sauce that's adding so much additional accent flavor. Something like a honey mustard glaze, but there's a little bit of kick to it. Not a super spicy heat, but just a little bit. It's quite good. A nice sweet heat with some very good salmon meat all comes together very well.
A really good salmon dish there. Next up, chicken brasserie. A beautiful butterfly breast here, served with peppers and a nice red hue to this. Here's the chicken brasserie. Yeah, it's pretty tasty.
A nice cook to this chicken here. A moist and juicy chicken breast. A nice texture to this chicken. This pepper relish on top is quite spicy. There's a fair amount of heat here. I can definitely feel small beads of sweat forming on my brow. There's something like a blackened seasoning here, providing some very robust flavors. However, I do think it's a tad on the salty side. While there's a nice spicy kick up front and some juicy chicken flavors in the middle of the bite, unfortunately, there is quite a salty aftertaste here. I'm finding myself reaching for my water pretty quickly after each bite. I really do like the flavors up front, but unfortunately that salty aftertaste does leave a bit to be desired. A little easier on that seasoning, I think this could be a lot better. Next up is the soka nikwa. I'm actually not entirely sure what a soka is, but I was told this is their vegetarian option on the menu. And you can definitely see some mushrooms here, as well as some spinach. Let's see how this is. Yeah, not bad. So I'm told that a soka is a chickpea pancake. It's actually not bad. A bit of a nutty flavor to that. Although it does have a bit of a grainy texture, I'm not a huge fan of that. It is a well-seasoned little pancake there. But because I don't know how it's supposed to taste, I can really just go based off of my own personal preferences. And personally, I just wish it was a little bit smoother. We have some kale, spinach, and mushrooms on the top, providing a little bit of bitterness and earthiness respectively. And there's also a feta cheese here that's providing richness as well as some salinity to the dish. A slightly spicy roasted pepper sauce is also present here, providing a little bit of heat to this dish. In general, I'd say the flavors are relatively balanced here.
Not a bad vegetarian option, though I don't think I'd be going for it personally. All right, everyone, now the last bite I'm trying from this first round of entrees is gonna be the macaroni Gruyere. Effectively your macaroni and cheese here, with a baked crust on top. Let's see how this is. Yeah, it's pretty good.
A very nice mac and cheese side here. The macaroni are firm, although I wouldn't exactly call it al dente. Now that said, it's not mushy by any means, still a fair texture to these macaroni. This cheese sauce is very good. A milder cheese, not very sharp in flavor, and it's got a nice salinity to it. But there's also a bit of a nutty flavor coming here from the bake on top. It's a very nice mac and cheese.
A very nice side there to end that first round. I like that. All right, my friends, now that's all the food we're trying from this first round of entrees. A few more bites, we're gonna box this all up to go, and then we're going on the second round of food. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. Our second round of entrees just got here. This is looking really good. Let me give you a view. We got their prime ribeye pecan, as well as their center cut pork chop, and rounding things out, their porterhouse lamb chops. Some very nice looking meat options here. Let's give them a try. First off, let's try the ribeye. Now I asked for this prepared medium rare, and it looks like they hit temperature. A bit of a warm red center here. Also served alongside some kind of orange looking butter. Let's give this a try. Oh, it's really good.
A nice cut of prime beef here. This is a juicy and tender steak. Nice amount of fat has rendered down into the meat. A good cook to it. A solid steak. Now it's been topped with something like a gochujang based sauce. That's a Korean spicy paste that's very garlicky with a nice savory spice. And it's working well here. It's a little bit more faint. It's not too robust and in your face, really letting you appreciate the flavors of the beef. That's quite good. The addition of this butter on top is very nice. Something like a chili butter, there's some spice here, providing a touch of kick, helping amplify the flavors of that gochujang, while the richness of the butter helps to cool everything down.
That's a solid ribeye right there. Next up, this is the center cut pork chop. A very thick cut pork chop here. And I've got a nice little slice on the fork with a little bit of that additional glaze. This is the pork chop. unfortunately, I say that's just okay.
Now, to its benefit, this is a very thick cut pork chop, very meaty, and so your initial bite into it, it is fairly satisfying. Unfortunately, the pork chop is quite dry. You can actually see here, even toward the center, there's not a lot of moisture. I'd appreciate a much more juicy pork chop here. The glaze is pretty good. It's very thick, with a little bit of an acidic sweetness coming from it. I want to say that's the flavor of orange in there. There's a little bit of tang here as well, maybe from some Worcestershire or vinegar. The sauce actually does work very well with this pork. It's just unfortunate because while the pork is very meaty, it just lacks the moisture to make this a very succulent dish, and ultimately just not as satisfying to eat. Especially coming from that ultra juicy ribeye, this is a bit more of a letdown, because I do think if prepared as a juicy pork chop, this could be really good.
Kind of a shame it was that dry, unfortunately. Okie doke, the last protein I'm going in from this round of entrees is going to be the lamb. You're served 2 lamb chops, absolutely smothered in some kind of breading and or spices. Let's see how the lamb is. Right. Yeah, it's a tasting lamb dish.
Firstly, the cook on the lamb is fantastic. Very juicy, nice moisture in that lamb, but still very tender. A really excellent job when it comes to the preparation. This sauce that they used on the lamb is very good. It's a little bit sweet. You also get some mint. That's pretty common in lamb dishes. But the dominating flavor profile is olives from the stepanade. A very briny, salty flavor from that, but a bit of a richness to it as well. It helps to mask a lot of the pungent flavors from the lamb. They work together very well here. A very nice lamb dish in general.
This is a good one. I like the lamb dish here. All right, everyone, now the last bite I'm trying from the food today is gonna be the French fries. These are twice cooked French fries that are served along with all of their avec frites, and they actually feel fantastic. Here are the French fries. Oh, those are very good.
I'm actually in love with these French fries. These are some of the most perfect textured French fries I've had in such a long time. Almost a whimsical crunch to the outside. It's the perfect crispy French fry to enjoy. A pillowy, starchy center, good potato flavors here. I actually really appreciate that the flavor of the potato hasn't been completely blasted away by the frying oil. Lightly salted, really allowing you to appreciate the flavors of the potato, but just enough seasoning to make sure that it's not bland. I'm very much enjoying these French fries. I'm glad I have 3 full servings of them here.
Very happy with those French fries. I like them a lot. All right, everyone, that's all of the food I'm trying today. My friends and I are getting pretty full here. I think just a few more bites. We're gonna box this all up to go. Then we'll do some dessert next. Don't go anywhere because sweets are coming up. And welcome back, everyone. It's time for some desserts. Let's take a look at the sweets menu. So here is your list of desserts at Brasserie B. Dark chocolate souffle up top, blueberry lemon crepes, profiteroles, thin apple tart, a pistachio creme brulee, and a raspberry fine sear. A pretty good looking dessert menu here at Brasserie B. Some good looking sweets here. I'm gonna get my order in, but for all of you at home, I'm gonna make that dessert appear right now. And here it is, everyone. My dessert just got here. This is the thin apple tart. Looks very nice with some caramel here. Here it is, the thin apple tart. Yeah, that's good.
A nice thin tart here, a crispy bake on that outside, a relatively soft center. I think I would prefer a little bit more of a chewy feel in the middle though. That said, there's a very nice sweetness here, bit of a woodsy flavor coming from that cinnamon, and you do get a little bit of the natural sweetness from the apples and some nice nutty notes coming from the caramel. I actually did get a nice fresh minty flavor in that bite as well. It was a refreshing flavor, however, it was a bit sharp. Now, while the ice cream looks like a standard vanilla ice cream, there's a definitive spice to this. This is a ginger spiced ice cream, and so it has a bit of a bite to it. Personally, I think I would prefer just a straight up vanilla ice cream here. I think that flavor would complement this much better for my basic American palate, but maybe folks in France really appreciate this level of spice on their dessert.
A fun one there, not bad. All right, everyone, now that's gonna do it for my dinner here at Brasserie B by Bobby Flay at Caesar's Palace. Now, dinner came out to just a little under $740 today before tip, and my friends and I certainly had a nice time.
I think the onion soup was actually my favorite appetizer, although the Tower Magnifique had some really solid choices. That king crab was so good. That salmon dish was my favorite from the first round of entrees. Favorite dish of the night has to be the ribeye though. A very nice cut of beef, topped with a beautiful gochujang sauce. served along with some very, very tasty French fries, made for a fantastic entree. I really enjoyed that one.
If you're here at Caesar's Palace and you're in the mood for some French food, this is what you can expect at Brasserie B. All right, everyone, now that's going to do it for this Saturday video where I'm continuing my quest to vlog every restaurant on the Las Vegas Strip as well as downtown on Fremont Street. Coming this Tuesday, I'm going to be returning to a much more local place here in the Valley. Make sure you come back for that one. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy Vegas with me, Shin. Bye.